morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, August 11th, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Monday, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame. You can see here a very quiet overnight and pre-market trade. Just 26% of average range and 21 total points of range as of right now. Big time compression here on a Monday. And that compression could persist throughout much of the day. So we could be looking at a trading range day, back and forth, fade new highs, fade new lows. Currently in upward bias, but we are right at the previous week's high and close. And this market could be looking at compression ahead of Tuesday's CPI data. We got Core CPI and CPI prior to the RTH open Tuesday morning, so today could be a wait and see type of day, back and forth throughout much of the session. Tuesday prior to the RTH open, that CPI data could trigger the next wave of volatility. On Thursday, we get core PPI and PPI data, and then core retail sales and retail sales on Friday. So we could have quite a bit of economic data here that drives the market here later on this week, including Tuesday morning and into Tuesday with a high range day. But today, lack of economic data points, very narrow range heading into the RTH open. It could be a mostly range bound style day, still with a minor upward bias here, but we are coming into higher highs. Well, we talked about before, that key range right there to get back to the midpoint suggested that we could be in this range for a little while now, meaning we could go all the way up here, find a high, come all the way here, find a low, and continue to trade with an upward bias until this opposite side of the range is violated. That could open up quite a pullback if it occurs. But right now, this market remains quite buoyant, very bullish at the moment. And even if we get into these highs here and fade, it could still be a good buying opportunity until proven otherwise. All right, looking at the NQ. Right here, you'll see the NQ showing similar price action here to the ES. Very narrow range, 28% of ADR, 105 points of range as of right now. This one's almost into new all-time highs. As I mentioned here before, on that two-day sell-off, it's okay that we sold off like that, especially if we bounce back to the midpoint, because that could still open up the potential for new highs up ahead where you can add an additional hedge or trim any positions here. But this right there offers an opportunity here to fade it likely back to recent lows, anywhere in here, back up, still in upward bias. Again, on these highs, not looking to fade it unless we start to see signs of rejection. That could be, again, Tuesday morning with CPI data, CPI, core CPI, all that could come out. We could fly higher, see a rejection, and then that higher high would open up a retest back at this low at 22,775. So that would be the play there if we start to see rejection early this week. All right, looking at crude oil. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil. Crude oil right now dropping into our zone here. This one reached a 100% target of that key range and is starting to bounce a bit now. We talked about this one before, dropping into the 63 to 64 zone, and if it can find rejection, that could offer an opportunity to bounce this thing back towards 67 and across the range towards 70 to 71. As of right now, we're seeing decent enough reaction on these lows. We're seeing price defended at the 63 zone. That's very important. You can see it right here, these lows. And while we didn't get a lower low failure here to begin the week, we are seeing a decent box reversal down here so far in overnight pre-market trading, the rally here. So any pullback to begin the day could be a buying opportunity for a short-term rotation higher. Can we get to 65.50 here over the course of the early part of the week? And again, 64 is the key level. So if we can pull back and find a way to finish above 64s today, that goes a long way toward squeezing the rest of the week. Again, not a strong rejection here yet to say, yes, that is the low, but an early bullish bias as of right now. We'll see what we get here up ahead as well, because again, could be mostly range bound. We get ourselves a rejection, and then that could open up the upside here in the near term. Failure to hold 63s, and you're opening up 58 below. Looking at gold, right now gold showing a big time pullback. This is a big time reaction, down 2.4%. That's a huge move right now. Look at the rejection that we saw on Friday up here at these highs. We got that big drive through 34.50, a big time push to the upside. But one thing I noted before was if we were going to see a break through 34.50, it needed to be a confident transition day where we not only push through 34.50, but we close well beyond 3,500. We didn't do it here, and when we did get that massive breakout here up toward the 35.30s, by the end of the day, it closed back below 3,500 and back at 34.50. So that's a big time reaction, a big rejection. We're getting a big pullback here today, back within the range. And again, this type of reaction has been on par with what we've seen before. I mean, these types of moves, that right there, this right there, and this right here, you're seeing a forceful push up and a rotation. We've seen it a little bit before that as well back here. These are much more pronounced rotations here and there, all along this line, and this is just the latest in that string of moves. Again, ultimately, we're looking at that high right there and this low right here, and that's the key range. That's the big time key range right there. And at some point with this ascending development here, you would tend to think an upside break would be the end result down the way. But at some point, you know, you test over and over, you continue to develop this edge until you're ready to get that breakout. So we'll see if we get that breakout down the road, but as of right now, last time we hit that pullback, very similar price action, good strength, strong rally, strong rejection, big pullback, the same thing, and the very next day was a bounce back day as this thing continues to maybe trade in here. So again, this may not suggest a full-on failure, but we are definitely pulling back here, and we could snap right back as we did before. Continued to see big time resistance above 3,500 at some point. Perhaps a breakout occurs. If not, as this thing continues to bump its head, we may see a rotation right back to 31.20. All right, let's look at the YM. The YM right now, super compressed, 119 points of range. That's 22% of average. Nothing on the economic calendar for today. CPI, core CPI prior to the RTH open on Tuesday, anticipating range-bound price action, fade new highs, fade new lows. The overnight highs, overnight lows in play right now. And of course, we could continue to see any movement between that Thursday high and low. That was the point here. That day when we developed it, the next day we can trade anywhere within it. We're already seeing that price action continue to play out until we see expansion up ahead. So compression here. Now from a bit of a longer term perspective here, we continue to see an uptrending channel here. We continue to see it bullish, and currently we're on this edge building that energy. It would not be surprising to see that follow through to the upside as we noted, and from that low that would point higher to about the 46.5 level at the very least. So big time potential here for this market to continue to just see another round of strength up ahead, especially if these recent lows are in. How does CPI data come out, and how does that influence the market? If it's down with a rejection first, we could be flowing higher. If it's up with a rejection first, we may be flowing lower a bit more. So that CPI data reaction is going to be very important Tuesday morning. All right, looking at Bitcoin, this one's up 2.7% with a big time push into 122,955, just shy of all-time highs. We've seen a rally here the last few days with a rotation right to the highs, and this is something that has continued to develop here with this low and these highs, and now we have ourselves a full-on trading range that is developing here, whereas before it was much more narrow, drop down, back up, and that is kind of the essence of an expanding range as well. You know, you get a bit more compressed and you just widen it out as you go. So how is this thing going to progress from here? Do we continue higher, or are these strong highs an indication of weakness? As of right now, this is a pretty good reaction up here for Bitcoin. When you look at the intraday reversal, very strong. When you look at the reaction in the same vicinity above 122s here, like we've seen before, that rotation led you at least back 10,000 points. So do we get that similar rotation again? This is a pretty good reaction right now, depending on how we finish the day. If we finish the day close to the mid, that could be more range bound. If we close it off the mid, back down toward the lows, that would be quite bearish here, at least in the near term. Looking at ETH, Ethereum up 2.7%. New all-time highs into, or rather new highs for the year into 43.75. We opened the upside target into 4,600 here recently, but any pullback, even as deep as 34, could still open that rotation up to 4,600. Right now, big time break through 4,000. Any rotation now back into 3,800 might offer an opportunity higher on a swing basis, but even an opportunity as deep as 34 could still be bought. That's how bullish this market has been. Again, off the 1,400 lows, our home run was to get to 28 for a double, and then if you can carry it across the 4,200, that was a triple. That was reached here as of right now, that triple off that lows. The follow-up entry, 2,200, also can get you up there as well. We had both of those in our trading room there. So this officially triples off the low. But we have more upside that could be ahead. We marked up toward 4,600 on the short-term basis. And you can see I got 5,200 here, 5,800 as well. This market could get very, very bullish as we hit the back stretch of this year. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out here the rest of the week. Thank you for joining me here for the pre-market video. You can hit the links in the description below for access to our trading room. Everyone have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.